Hello, I'm Emily Bliss, and I'm going to be walking you guys through Gimkit today. So this is the Gimkit website. It's gimkit.com. Now, there are two ways that you can go ahead and log in. One is an educator sign up if you don't have an account, and the other one is a login once you do register for an account. So if you're registering for an account, you go to educator sign up and they give you a 30-day free trial, which I really recommend that you do before you fully commit to it, just to see if it's for you. They also have group pricing, and I really like their refund policy. That's why I felt really comfortable with going ahead and signing up. So once you go ahead, if you end up signing up, then there's also the login. So when you go into login, I like that they have where you can continue with Google. That's what I've done. So when I click on it, I log in, and then here we go. This is what it looks like when you log in. I personally have never used Gimkit Inc. I've heard great things about it. I know that it's for students to create and publish and create their own. Actually, let's take a look at it. Let's see. Oh, they can create projects using ink. Awesome. Well, I don't have time for a quick tour, but just know that it's here and it's available. And if it's as amazing as the rest of Gimkit, I'm sure it's wonderful. So let's go ahead and go back. So Gimkit Live is what I personally use. And this is what my students love. So I'm an English history teacher. You can probably tell. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to create a kit that I would use in my classroom. So I'm going to go ahead and click New Kit, and then I'm going to name it. So let's do Ancient Rome. History and Social Studies, yes. So the cool thing is that for Ancient Rome, that's the title. It finds photos that relate to what I put in. So let's see. Ooh, I like this one. All right. So now, once you have your title, you have your picture, now it's time to add in the questions. So there's a few different ways that I do it. The first way is add a question. That's when you're creating your own questions. But honestly, one of the best places to look and one of the best resources is to go down here to add from question bank, because when you click on it, it's going to give you all of the other kits of people who have named it the same thing. So when you look at it, like I see Ancient Rome. Let's see, what event brings an end to the Roman Republic? After crossing the Rubicon, Julius Caesar defeats his enemies and becomes dictator for life. Bingo, there we go. So, and you can see that there are other options, but the one that is correct is the one that is in the green. So I'm going to go ahead and I click this arrow that says add question. Now I could also go all the way through them and be like, man, these questions are awesome. And I could add all questions, but I highly recommend that you just go individually, because you're going to want to check each to make sure that they are not only appropriate, but that the answers correspond with what you've been teaching. So here, who or what was Rome named after? A guy named Romulus. Perfect. Goddess of love. Wonderful. Italy is shaped like well, it's not shaped like a spoon. It's definitely shaped like a boot. So there we go. I think I have enough questions for right now. Remember, you can also go all the way through, and let's say that I wanted something specific, like Julius Caesar. I could look here and get something about Julius Caesar. How old was Julius Caesar when he died? Sure. What year did he die? This morning. So now that I have added in quite a few questions, I'm going to add one of my own. Let's see. Add question. Who is the coolest teacher ever? Well, correct answer, Miss Bliss. The incorrect answer, let's see. We have Joe Schmo, we have Mr. Smith, and we have Mrs. Smith. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and add that, and you can see that it comes up right here. When I click on it, I can also see the answers that are here. You can see that Miss Bliss is in green, and I think I'm done. I think I'm finished with my kit. So I'm going to click Finish Kit, And you can see it's now right there on top of my other ancient Rome one. Now there are two ways that your students can go ahead and complete this. So you can either assign it for homework, which is a great tool. I personally don't have a class on here. I like to do mine live, but if I did, I would continue without a class. But first, I would put in my due date, what time I want it completed by, and how much money I want the kids to earn before the assignment is marked as complete. So I'm going to go ahead and do continue without class. Make sure all of my data is correct. Yep. Awesome. Create assignment. So now the cool thing is that it's going to supply me with a link that I can paste in Schoology or Google Classroom or any of the ways that you communicate with your students. You could even put it in the chat in Zoom. And so that is one way that I can do it. You can also click the results and you can see how everyone did. If you want to use this as a formative resource. So I'm going to go all the way back. Now, for me, I always do play live. So once you click it, you can see that how many questions there are, and you get to select a game mode. For me, my kids really like the classic. It's when they're earning their own money. Team mode is always great also because it's always interesting because the students are always going back and forth, and you can hear them either saying out loud or putting in the chat, who's spending all of our money? Trust No One is based off of Among Us. And the floor is lava is really cool because they have this amount of material that you need to keep above the lava. So it's everyone working together. Infinity mode is everyone against each other. So they have to collect the 6 infinity stones. And at the end, once someone has collected all 6, they snap their fingers and half the people vanish. So that's pretty fun too. There's also the drained mode and hidden mode. Hidden mode is really good if you have people, students who you don't want to see other leaders and how everyone's doing. So that's hidden mode. Personally, I really like classic. So I'm going to go ahead and click on classic. And then there's different ways that you can have classic. So there's the time where you can have for 10 minutes or you can have for 20 minutes. You can have the race where they try to see who can be the first one to reach a certain amount of money. And then, or you can do it where everyone is putting in and they all have to reach a certain amount of money. I always start off my students with an amount of money just so that they all have an opportunity to go to the shop and to purchase upgrades. And again, the handicap, I don't let them fall below -10. Oftentimes I've also put it just as 0. I won't let them fall below 0. I always recommend that you have the answer check on because that's part of the reason why we're doing this is to get them prepared and to get them comfortable with the material. And so we want them to have the answer check on. Music is fun. Clapping, I really suggest you don't have the clapping on because at the end, you just hear clap, 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 and it's a lot. Students, I usually let them join in late unless there's an issue. We once had an issue where a student was logging in as another student, so that can happen. But I make them send me in the chat the username that they're going to be using. Has to include their first name, but some of the students like to add in a little extra flair. So they send me their username privately in the chat, and then I watch to see if it comes up, just a way to verify that it's a certain person. I always allow power-ups in the themes. Clean power-ups only is if you don't want your students to ice each other, blur each other, reduce. Personally, my students enjoy it, and it makes it a little bit competitive. But if it does become a lot, then I do turn that on. So let's go ahead and we'll start. This is when I start sharing my screen, just because it has all the information, very similar to Kahoot. So it says go to gimkit.com/live and enter the code. For you, if you are doing this over Zoom or if you have a way to contact students, you can go ahead and click on it and it copies the game link. And I'll show you. So if I go to another tab, if I put it in, this is what it looks like for the kids. So when they enter the code, then they enter their name and they click join. And so it says, get ready to answer questions to earn cash, purchase upgrades and power-ups with your cash. And it just shows them like what's new. And then the cool thing is that you can draw while you are waiting. Now, as you can see, I'm in kind of the wait mode because as a teacher, I'm still sharing my screen, but I can see that, oh, Miss Bliss popped up. So what's going to happen is you wait for everyone to go in and then you click start game. If the music gets a little bit annoying, although I really kind of dig it, you can toggle the music right up here in the right-hand corner. But again, I'm sharing my screen. So this is where on the left-hand side is where the leaderboard is, and this keeps track of where our money is. Now, you might be saying, what are the kids doing? So going back here, it now has the question, what events bring to an end to the Roman Republic? So I'm going all the way through. I'm like, which one's mine? It kind of has a similar look to Kahoot, but it's not. What brings an end? There we go. Awesome. I got some money. So they can keep track of how much money they have in the top right-hand corner. And there's two ways. They can either do what I did where you click on it to get into the shop. So again, I'll click on it to get into the shop. Or after you answer a question correctly, it gives you the question to either continue or go to the shop. In the shop, underneath where it says upgrades, there's money per question where the kiddos can add and get more money. Make sure they do not click the backspace. Make sure that they use the backspace that is next to the 3 dots. Otherwise, they will completely log out of Gimkit. There's also a streak bonus that they can get. The multiplier, which my students really enjoy, and insurance. So that this helps them when they get a question wrong. So if they get a question wrong, this means that they won't lose all of their money. Let's go back. There's also power-ups. And so they can play a different song. They can save their streak. They can hide another student's money. ICER and Blur and Subtractor are the ones that you can only use them once unless you do a quad grader or actually, they might have gotten rid of it actually. They used to have where you can get all your stuff back, but that might come after you already purchased something. But ultimately, it's really cool. There's also themes that the students can use to change the color. If they want to get back to the questions, there's 2 ways. They can either click on the money again, or they go up to the 3 lines and they click on questions. Okay, now if I want to see how everyone's doing, I can click on the leaderboard. So who is the Roman goddess of love? Okay, so let's say that a student gets it wrong and they click Aphrodite. Oh no, I lost $1. Now students can continue, or they can click view correct answer, in which case it shows them that it's actually Venus. Okay, so how old was Julius Caesar when he died? There we go, got some money back. So this is what it looks like on my end, or I'm sorry, rather on the student's end. Now you can see that this was keeping track of it as the student, me, was playing. Now let's say that we are at our time, our class has run out of time, or we just need to end the game for whatever reason. Go up to the right-hand corner and click End Game. Now there is gold, there is also silver and bronze, and then it'll list everyone else's accomplishments down here. Now you can either push the play again button, or I personally love to go to View Report, because then it shows me how many questions they answered correctly, how many questions my students answered incorrectly, and the accuracy. I can also get a general overview of how my students did and a question breakdown. So I got the question wrong of who is the Roman goddess of love. So I have a 0% on that. but this would be for all of your students. So if you have 20 students, it would have all the different numbers of how many times they got it right. And the cool thing with Gimkit is that it will totally go and repeat the questions. So it'll repeat the questions all the way through it, even if they get them right. And so I really like that because I think it gives my students a lot of practice. And I hope that this was helpful for you. Have a good rest of your day.